So እስቲ ስለ individual publish ስላደረካቸው comics እንሂድና I think መጀመሪያ ላይ the firstborn child is Jember,
Jember,
right?
yeah. That's right.
And now it's a very interesting story of a youth going around his life in በጣም complicated የሆነ life in Addis እና እስቲ ስለሱ story ደግሞ ትንሽ ንገረን።
Sure. So የጀንበር ታሪክ is actually the character's name is Amanuel Salawan, የሚባል character, and he is oh, you have it, amazing. Oh, there you go. So really የሱ ታሪክ revolve የሚያደርገው ምን የሚለው ጥያቄ ውስጥ ነው. If you had powers to help somebody, አንድ ሰው መርዳት የምትችል ከሆነ ግን ያ ሰው ያንተን እርዳታ የማይፈልግ ከሆነ are you still responsible for helping the person?
Yeah.
Stan Lee has the quote, with great power
comes great responsibility.
Right. But what if that's not always true? What if that you have great power, but people don't want your help? People just is it okay to just help yourself? Is it okay to just make your life better and leave people be? Like, that's the question that የጀንበር story የሚመልሰው. And the way it does that is, it follows አማኑኤል ጥላሁን የሚባለውን ካራክተር ይዞ ይከተላል። እሱ ተመርቆ he can't find a job, right? He's trying hard in Addis Ababa to ስራ ለማግኘት, but he can't find a job even though he's very qualified. And he's just in a very desperate state of feeling hopelessness. እና በዛ ስቴት ውስጥ እያለ የሆነ ነገር ያገኛል, changes his life, gives him some powers, and then he starts to try to adjust to that, and adjust ስታደርግ አንድ power ይዘህ you start to think that, okay, you know what, I have to help other people የሚለው ሀሳብ ይመጣብሃል. But then again, እንዳልኩ የኢትዮጵያን community is very, in my opinion, እንደዚህ የሱፐር ፓወር ወይ እንትን ምናምን ላይ voodoo ነገር ላይ is, I think, very against it because it's
extraordinary.
It's very anti religious content ስለሆነ people will obviously reject your help, that they were just not going to trust your help, so you have this power, you want to help, but people don't want your help, they just don't trust your help. What do you do? Is it okay to just say, you know what, peace out, I'm gonna just do me, I'm gonna get my job, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna live my best life?
Yeah.
Or are you responsible? Does great responsibility always come with great power? I think that is the question I'm trying to answer with that. I think that's not a story that's explored በሌላ comic book በማየው እንደዚህ አይነት ትረካ። ለዛ ነው የኛ ስቶሪዎች በጣም ዩኒክ የሚሆኑት። ገባ? The same way if it was a story from somebody else, like Puerto Rico or South America, the experience of people is different, and so I think that's the importance of injecting new stories to the comic book industry, and it just diversify ያደርገዋል እና ብዙ አይነት ፐርስፔክቲቭ ይሰጣል እና ይሄ የኛ ፐርስፔክቲቭ ነው ብዬ ስለማምነው አንድ ታሪክ that's the Jember story.
Very interesting. አሁን ያነሳልን ሀሳብ is a very philosophical የሆነ ብዙ ጥያቄዎች ከአይደንቲቲ ከብዙ ነገር ጋር የሚገናኙ እና መነሳት ያለባቸው እና ምን ልጠይቅህ ፈልጌ ነው የአንተ ታርጌት ኦዲየንስ ከያንግ አዶለሰንት ላይ ያሉ እንደሆኑ አውቃለሁ እና እነዚህን complex እሳቤዎችን ideas, how do you try to convey it in somehow palatable ለነሱ በሆነ መንገድ እንዴት ነው አድርገህ የምትሰራው?
that's still something I'm working on ማለት
ያ
it's
ሶስተኛ ኢሹ ላይ ደርሷል
yeah
በነገራችን ላይ for our audience.
እንትን it's a tough handle I mean if you ማለት እንደነ አሁን ፒክሳር አይነት ፊልሞችን ብታይ any animation ናሩቶ ሆነ any animation ብታይ ሲሰሩት they make it so that it does have deep የሆነ philosophical content ለአዳልቶቹም because every adult is a kid inside right
Yeah, very true.
ለእነሱም እንዲሆን perceive ተደርጎ እንዲሆን እና እንዲያስተምር ሆኖ and at the same time the content is not you know whether በlanguageም ሆነ በlevel of violenceም ሆነ በሌላም ነገር it's also accessible to the kids so you know I just try to look at what you know other people are doing in the Zenith regard like you know Avatar the Last Airbenders are one of the best examples in my opinion to it balances the kid aspect and the adult theme aspect but really well ጥሩ አድርጎና እንግዲህ just
Yeah,
ከዛ ከማየው እየተማርኩኝ just
very
keep going
interesting.
and improve ማድረግ ነው እውነት ለመናገር I don't know like the solution
I think you've already found this ይመስለኛል አሁን እንደምትለኝ ከሆነ Etan universe also has a very new and vibrant and an interesting character, Hawi. እና እስቲ ስለዚህም ላይ ንገረን ትንሽ።
okay Hawi actually is የሃዊ ካራክተር ስም is እምነት ለገሰ የምትባል ካራክተር and it's her journey of becoming Hawi Hawi ለየት የሚያደርገው ከጀምበር is identity really this story focuses on identity it's a Imnet is somebody who's born Ethiopia ተወልዳ ግን because of certain circumstances she is taken to United States and grows up in the United States with her mother and now you know she የእምነት ካራክተር adventurous ለመሆን ኤክስፕሎር ለማድረግ የሚፈልግና you know በቤተሰብ የኛ የኢትዮጵያን culture I think usually እናትና አባቶቻችን they're very protective of us ምክንያቱም they've seen so many things they've went through so many things በተለያየ አይነት በፖለቲካል አትሞስፌርም ሆነ በኖርማል ሶሻል ላይፍም ሆነ ብዙ አይነት ነገር ስላዩ they're usually very protective especially of daughters and now you know you see that family dynamic in Hawi's story between her mother and Hawi or Imnet and now Imnet is just trying to find her own way her own path and now the other dynamics is Imnet is dealing with being an Ethiopian and being an American and it's an you know an identity crisis kind of እዚህ የሚያድግ ሰው ላሉት ያላቸው በጣም ብዙ አይነት የሚጋጩ አይዲያዎች አሉ ማለትም sometimes you get pushed into you know people tell you you're not Ethiopian enough because you don't speak the language you don't you know the culture you don't know the music you don't know the dance and then at the same token they tell them you're not American enough because you know your parents are Ethiopian you're not so and so you know they are stuck in the middle እንደዚህ አይነት ሰዎች እና የእምነት character represents them and what even makes it I think more interesting is imagine taking that kind of person back to Ethiopia right and then taking them even deeper into a very historical part of Ethiopia's kind of historical lifeline. That's what happens, you know, the Emnet's story, Emnet, as I said, is trying to be more adventurous, but her mother is protective, but then they have to go back to Ethiopia because of a family death ነገር እና when they go back, her mother gets kidnapped. And she gets kidnapped and taken into this fantasy world by somebody who's a complete stranger. And Mnet
Yeah.
follows. And that fantasy world is like 10th century Ethiopia, East Africa type world. So imagine that. Imagine a person who's conflicted and who's stuck in this middle ground of an identity crisis of Ethiopian Mon and American Mon. And then you take him to Ethiopia, and then you take him to even 10th century Ethiopia. Yeah, you see what I mean? Um,
Very wild transitions.
exactly. So how do you grapple? How do you grapple? I think that in general, የኛ በዚህ ኤራ ኢትዮጵያዊነት ምንድን ነው የሚለው ጥያቄ ሆነ just identity has been a big topic across the board. And so I
Yeah,
wanted to dive
very.
deep into that. I want people to conversate and I want them to have fun when they do that, you know. So that's why the Hawi story is a different, very different conversation than Jember's.
በጣም እዚህ ላይ ረጅም ጊዜ ብናወራ በጣም ደስ ይለኛል።
Yeah.
ግን unfortunately ሰዓታችን ይይዘናል። So this specific issue, it's been recently nominated for the NOMO Awards.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a very huge achievement ይመስለኛል, right?
Man, it's
እና እስቲ
incredible. I was just telling you a few
መጀመሪያ
minutes ago how
paint a
I,
background for us እና ምን አይነት ሂውጅ ዲል እንደሆነ እና ከዛ ስለ አዋርዱም አንድ ላይ ንገረን።
okay, so you remember መጀመሪያ ቅድም ስንጀምር እንደነገርኩ ምን ያህል imposter syndrome እንዳለ
Yeah,
when you are doing this work. Just keep that in
yeah.
mind, okay? Uh, so nomos are በየዓመቱ ነው የሚደረጉት የኖሞ awards and specifically what they do is different categories. Novel, alle, short story, alle, graphic novel, alle. I think there's one more category, I forget what it is. እና what they do is they compile African authors ሆነ ስለ African content የሚጽፉ ሰዎችን all over the world compile አደረጉና then the people who review it are other editors, other writers, and other speculative fiction የሚያጠኑ ሰዎች ማለት ነው እና it usually goes on like Nigeria, Lagos, you know, usually the festival የሚደረገው award ceremony የሚደረገው and it's a big deal and and to know this year they're not going to do it because of coronavirus obviously
Yeah,
but they
very sad.
probably might do something online anyway though I think that so last year this nomination the best graphic novel nomination went to Nendi Okorafor. Nendi is she's like a Hugo Award winner. I mean,
Yeah.
she is she's an exceptional author in many segments. Graphic novel, ብቻ ሳይሆን novel. I highly recommend people read her stuff. She definitely is an inspiration. And now, yes, so is Afichu. She was asked by Marvel to write the Shuri, Black Panther Shuri, yes, one graphic novel, and she wrote it last year, and that was the one that was nominated. Actually, there was also a Black Panther series that she was involved in that was also nominated. So what happens is
Yeah.
when they do the review and then they first publish a nomination of long list nomination ይባላል, which is like the top 20 or whatever is available, and then there's a short list which is the final round. And now so hers was like not only the long list, short list, but she won for Shuri. La Shuri አሸነፈች. So to be nominated, so this year Jember and Hawi both got nominated on the long list, which was
Yeah.
crazy by itself. ከዛ በኋላ then that how we got into the short list, it's a little bit insane. I mean,
Yeah, so
uh,
to make it very clear, our boy here is rubbing shoulders with creatives coming from Marvel and the
that
huge comic universes right now, right?
it's insane. It's insane to me.
Yeah,
I mean, like, and again, as I told you, I am no creative study background. I'm an engineer by profession. I've been doing this for a very
yeah.
limited time. And again, I will never take this nomination as, oh my God, all of a sudden I'm prolific. I'm way ahead of my time. I'm just so good. But I'm like, that's stupid. I would never do that. But it does give you a very humbling experience to be recognized and to improve, and it also puts a spotlight on Ethiopia, which is one of
Mm,
my main goals. The biggest goal I have is
mhm,
for
mhm.
people to come seeking Ethiopian stories. There's so many, there's so many amazing writers selling their books, Matober, on the street, less than Matober on the street, like novel writers, whatnot, who don't get this highlight and they deserve the
Mm.
highlight. And I
True,
don't,
very
I'm
true.
not ignorant enough to be like, oh, you know what, I made it with my 2 year experience, and nah, man, like it's stupid to say that, and so I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for the nomination, and I'm also
Yeah,
grateful that it's putting spotlight on people in Ethiopia. I hope that more people start creating stories. We can
yeah,
shake the
yeah,
industry. We can
yeah,
really,
definitely.
really shake the industry. So yeah, and now I think the final, like the award like result, the የመጨረሻው winner is going to be announced is I think in November or something like that. So even if I don't win, I am, of course,
You're
I'm
rooting.
crossing my fingers. But even if I don't, this has been, I mean, this is phenomenal, and it's very motivating.
Yeah,
I'm so happy, and
but
we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
yeah.